If you love the idea of owning a vintage guitar or a birth year guitar or something's a bit quirky or even an absolute bargain, then this is the video for you. Because I recently went to Gardiner Houlgate near Bath, UK, and saw some of the most desirable guitars I've ever seen in my life, including this golden year Stratocaster, an absolute gem of a vintage SG, and an Ibanez that was never actually released to the public. So pour yourself a cup of tea, crack open a packet of biscuits, and listen as my accent changes to my real West Country one and see two British men talking about beautiful guitars. Oh, and stay to the end for a rather special treat. This is Luke. Luke, thank you so much for inviting me here to
You're more than
behind the
welcome.
scenes.
You are within the racks.
Yeah,
where the magic happens.
It's exciting because people don't get to see this because it's not quite ready for auction. We've got a huge list of guitars to get through, and it's going to get bigger as we go around the racks.
Yep, a lot to get through.
What have you got first for us?
Well, I thought you might quite like to see one of the vintage pieces. So we got a 1957 Gibson Les Paul Special. How does that sound?
Is it that one over there?
Looks good,
Sounds
doesn't it?
great.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to pick this up. It is this TV yellow?
It is TV yellow, yeah. So
it's not a reissue. We're not talking 𝗬𝗪𝗨𝗪 or anything like that. We're talking real 57 Les Paul Special.
it is the real deal. Old P90s.
It's surprisingly light, and the neck is very comfy. You know, I like,
Yeah,
I'm really big on necks. And one of the things you can't do when looking at your website is pick up the guitar and actually have a look. So
It's a shame, yeah.
it is a shame. Not yet. We're not there yet. But
One day.
it's amazing. There's little divots in the fretboard. There's real relicking.
There's real wear, yeah. I think this is the it's better than the 𝗬𝗪𝗨𝗪. Well, it's what the 𝗬𝗪𝗨𝗪 tries to replicate, essentially, isn't it?
Oh, smells like my granddad's drum kit. It's lot 171. It's there, available if you want to bid on it. That's worn away. It is rock and roll, isn't it?
It's a great piece, and it's all original as well. So for the collectors, apart from the old snake bite Bigsby holes, so it's had a Bigsby on it at some point, but that's now taken off, stop bar, put back in, and good to go again.
Well, that's character, if anything.
It is character, yeah. It tells a story, I think.
Okay, well, if this floats your boat, then we'll put links in the video description so you can go and find out. Lot 171, I think I said. Yeah, 171. Go and find out the estimate on that. There's an SG next to it, which you've sneakily put next to it. Tell us about that, Luke.
So I thought I'd just put this next to it because it's a similar concept. You've got the two P90 pickups, so it is an SG Special, but because this guitar has been so modified, it makes it, I guess, very, very affordable. Whereas, you know, you're talking 10,000 for Mr. TV Yellow.
So how much are we talking for this SG, do you think?
So probably 2,000. So it's still a lot of money, but more affordable.
Yeah.
It's an affordable way into the vintage market. I mean, if this was original, it would be more 3,500 to 4,000. But there are slightly less desirable features as well, like you've got the skinnier neck. Some people don't mind that. So in '65, Gibson went to the well, essentially the skinnier nut, but it's had its vibrato taken off. It's been stripped. Other minor bits of hardware changed, but it's still got the old pickups and still sounds like a monster.
I like that. It's actually a really fat neck here, which is odd.
Yeah, yeah.
It's normally fat there and skinny there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gone the other way. It's quite unique. I've played a lot of SGs and a fair amount of vintage ones. I've never played anything that's like this.
It's a really cool guitar.
Even looking at it, you can see that.
I think as well, because the finish has been stripped back, it kind of like feels nice in the hand, because you get that more satin feel. Like a lot of good old vintage guitars, that's the benefit you get.
What a beauty. And this is going to be a video of me mainly sniffing guitars.
Yeah, we don't play them, we sniff
them. Don't play them. Just bid on them and sniff them. Pork sniffing. Yeah. What have we got next? We got quite a range in this video, by the way. So it's not all amazing Gibsons and those things from the 50s and 60s. we've made sure to cater to the sort of, oh, that's an interesting guitar. How much is that? Oh, really? I'll put a bid on that.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going next, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we do cater for the entire market. It's not just high-end vintage and high-end modern guitars that are thousands of pounds. We like to make sure there's something for everyone, to include everyone. And I mean, I guess something like this Squier really does show that. So, I mean, these would probably come up at a couple of £100 maybe at auction. So it's a classic vibe, Telecaster custom. So you've got the bound body. Yeah, it's a great guitar.
They are cracking, aren't they?
Looks great and they play great. I mean, I've got my go-to Strat is a classic vibe Squier.
What colour?
Strat Fiesta Red, which I'm not a huge Fiesta Red fan, but it was a very cheap guitar and it plays great, and that's all that matters. Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah,
Feel free. Yeah,
so it's a bound body. It's surprisingly light.
Yeah,
again,
it is.
The classic vibe. The only thing I don't like about the classic vibes is the kind of sticky poly neck.
Yeah,
which is the gloss thing. It's part of the classic vibe range. You can fix that with some Scotch Brite. You know, that's
exactly.
a personal preference.
Yeah, you can
get a thumbs up there from Susie.
But
that's in cracking condition as well.
Yeah, it's a great guitar, great condition, and like I said, I mean, hammer price is going to be around £200. So by the time you put our premium on, which we cannot hide, 26.4 including VAT. So yeah, that is what you have to pay on the hammer price. So you're going to be looking at I mean, you're going to be looking 250-ish.
Yeah,
all in, which is a lot of guitar for the money.
Yeah,
and that, quite honestly, will play. I mean, like you referred to the gloss on the neck. Apart from that, it will play like a lot of the older guitars that you've got on Fork 2000 plus.
If you're a gigging musician, that's a cracking guitar.
Absolutely, and very, you're not because you're not putting much money into it to actually sat in the neck back. Is not going to deter too much, and you can upgrade hardware or electrics if you wish, but it's not always necessary.
That might be Andy's pick. I don't know. That was smooth, wasn't it?
So smooth.
So what's this, Luke?
This is a Guild Red Special. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. I mean, I think if you don't really know what it is, I don't know where you've been, really.
What are you doing like?
So, my personal guitar hero, Brian May. I think you're a big fan of Queen.
My own personal guitar hero is Brian May. Absolutely, we agree on that. And this, for me, I've never picked up a Guild Brian May before.
Yeah, so
this is huge for me.
They were kind of like the earliest Brian May copy guitars. Of course, they were Brian May went in collaboration with Burns, and now he's got his own company essentially. But this is kind of like the earliest ones, and they're fantastic instruments, US made. Probably, I would say, the highest quality Red Special copies you can get, because they were made within Guild USA. And yeah, amazing instrument, especially if you want to sound like Brian May, and they really do as well. You plug it in and it just works. It just does it, but become very sought after now as well. You do have to, unfortunately, part with best part of £3,000 for these days. But I guess a collectible, and they seem to keep going up in value. But this is a version that is kind of the most sought after because it is the most accurate. So they did a few variations. This one with the chrome pickups,
right?
Because they did one with black pickups.
So you're talking within the Guild brand,
within the Guild brand,
this particular version of it.
So this had the more traditional, Red Special tailpiece with the cover, rather than some of them had like a weird trem system, which just isn't really Brian May. But this is like the most accurate within the Guild family. And yeah, seemed to be very popular on the vintage market. And I can't say I'm saying vintage about a guitar that's 90s.
90s?
Yeah.
90s?
As old as
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm officially vintage.
But yeah, there we go.
As I said, I've never held a Guild Brian May before. I've owned two, one Burns Brian May and one Brian May, and they always left me wanting more. You know, I always felt they were kind of lacking. And what's really unusual about this is this: there's no neck break angle, or a very mild one, and it feels like I expect the real old lady to feel, and I haven't felt that either. But yet. Yeah, but I have friends that they're on a list, you know.
Yeah.
They know where I am. And yeah, this is momentous for me. This feels, it feels right. I just wanted to give it a bit of a tap. Okay, there, so we're solid up there. There's something else going on, some chambering or something going on there. There, that's what I was looking for. How nerdy is that? Also, if you don't recognise my accent, I'm back home in the UK and I've been home, and this is what I really sound like. So in Austria, when I'm in the studio, I don't sound like I do now because I'm back in the homeland.
And you spent a morning with me, where it's even more severe. Yeah.
Oh, there's some
West
words
Country.
we're not going to repeat. I'm going to put that down before I make some auction decisions. And you're going to show us the next guitar, Luke, which is hopefully near us.
Absolutely. So just behind.
All right.
Really is near us. Yeah. So I think this would probably be my pick of the auction because I am again, we've got artist association in some ways. I'm a huge James Hetfield fan. I'm a huge Metallica fan. And this is a grassroots, so it's an ESP subsidiary. It was kind of like a domestic, Japanese market thing. And they had all sorts of problems with cease and desists when they bought out the original, ESP bought out their original copies. And this is kind of something they bought out and they got away with it, even though it's kind of like very close. But essentially, it is the James Hetfield spec, Black Explorer. A lot of the ones you find on the market, people have upgraded with the EMG headsets, whereas this is all essentially pure. And kind of affordable as well. They're great guitars, but in mid-hundreds you can pick these up for. I mean, you can see some people trying to get up to £1,000 for them. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but...
so this is, just to confirm, this is the same model that James Hetfield played.
It's close, so it's like it's not exactly the same.
Okay,
but
it's close to, like, if you were to, I don't know, a few months ago bought a Black Explorer and then modded it to be like this one, like CJ behind the camera did. This is a better move.
Absolutely, yeah, better move. It'll cost you less money, less time
with a writer.
Yeah,
So
it's James Hetfield ready to go. Enter Sandman at the ready.
Lot 254. Do you know from memory, because you're amazing, what an estimate of this would be?
So estimate, I mean, we've put 400 to 600 on it. I'd expect it to get towards the upper estimate, but it's still, although it's not an endorsed signature model, it's as close as you're going to get, and it will be a popular thing.
There are a few people I know that are definitely watching this video that will be now looking at lot 254 on your website and considering moving some funds around, because that is, like for me and the Brian May thing, that's one of the ones, if you're a Metallica James Hetfield fan and you're in the period of your life where you're collecting guitars rather than just trying to play them, this is one of the ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really fun. May I hold it? Just
of course
I love Explorers because as a larger chap, they look good on me because they make me look normal.
It does look great on you, actually.
Does it?
Yeah,
does it make me look £600 good?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Bargain.
I dig it. I dig it hard. What a fun guitar with a great story. But it's also a serious guitar. It's not fun as in, like sort of, I don't know, pink Hello Kitty or something like that. As if. But it is fun in the sense of wanting it. I'm not a massive Metallica fan, if I'm honest. People probably know that.
Each their own.
But even I know that this is special.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But as this is a huge guitar, which makes me look normal sized, have you got any guitars that are on the other side of the size spectrum that might make me look ridiculous?
Let me have a look.
Okay, he says knowingly. All right, I'll hold on to this while you get the next one, because I just want to show the difference in size, because I actually do know what's coming next. Oh my goodness.
Are you ready for this?
I'm not ready, and I never will be.
That is more your size, I think.
Right, now, get rid of this ridiculous thing. That, now we're talking. That, well, I'll tell you what it is. It's an Epiphone Zakk Wylde Mini. And what was the name you had for it?
Pee-wee. Yeah, officially.
Officially called a Pee-wee.
Pee-wee.
So,
Says
wraparound
it up here.
bridge. It does say Pee-wee.
Says Pee-wee. We're not lying.
Les Paul Pee-wee. That is, so a bolt-on neck. And what year is this? Early 2000s?
Yeah, it will be, yeah. But single pickup, one knob, what more do you need? On any guitar, really.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I agree there. MIDI, where's the MIDI pickup? That's fun. Is it tuned to?
Perfect tuning.
Oh, it's in an Egyptian scale.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's got to be. I mean, these look like regular strings, so I know nothing about it, and I'm putting Luke on the spot. But yeah, if you're interested in this guitar, you do the research. Why is this in the auction? What sort of person is going to buy one of these?
It's just for your kids, isn't it? Perfect to buy for your kid. If you're a huge Zakk Wylde fan,
That is true.
or you want a guitar just to sit in your armchair, your very small armchair, and shred those Black Label riffs. There we go.
A me-sized guitar.
I mean, it is fun. What do we think this is going to go for on lot number 179?
So it will probably sell for a couple of £100 because they have become slightly collectible. There would have been a time where you probably wouldn't have found anyone to give you £50 for it.
Yeah.
But now with, I guess, how big Zakk Wylde is now, he's, a living legend. And such an iconic guitar, the bullseye finish, again, being that I am into sort of heavier music and, growing up listening to Ozzy Osbourne and seeing Zakk with that. And if I'm going to encourage my kid to play, then I'll give him that and he'll never want to listen to Zakk Wylde probably, but too loud for him, but yeah.
To appraise it as a guitar, pure take away the fun and the kid stuff. The frets are good, everything's good, everything looks like it's going to intonate well. I think that's a playable guitar.
Playable, it is very playable. Yeah, I mean, it with a bit of tweaking.
Yeah.
The
Action's a bit high.
Action is a bit high. Maybe it's used for slide. I don't know, but
perfect for slide.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is for the person who, if you don't have kids, if you miss out on the Les Paul Special, or you just can't go that far, or if you've got such a great collection already and you want something that reflects your lust for life, then this is the one to go for.
Even a wall hanger. Guitars are art.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's a kitchen guitar, that is.
100%. Put a clock on it.
Oh, it's already got.
Yeah.
It's more than halfway there. Right. You're welcome. Speaking of little fun things, you've got pedals and stuff like that, right?
We do. So we sell pedals, amps, and all sorts. So anything guitar related, we do sell. We tend to have anywhere between 100 and 200 pedals in an auction, and that's really, old vintage pedals right through to modern day and very cheap budget pedals. So again, really catering for the entire market. And I guess because they always come after the guitar days, it's great for those that have tuned in, missed out on the guitar that they wanted, and they can go away with a toy.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, missed out on a few things and still had some spare money around.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we could put those in this video, but as we said at the top of this video, we're trying to pack as many guitars as we can and more than we promised to. So we're going to make a separate video on pedals. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that, we'll link to it somewhere, but just subscribe to the channel and do that stuff. And while you're there, you've got a channel.
We do. Yeah. So guitar auctions at Gardiner Houlgate, and we basically do this, but I'm on my own, so it's not quite as much fun.
I was about to say, it's like this, but without me, so make that what you will.
And yeah, it's just we do. I mean, we do a variety of we've got demo videos and things like that as well, where we actually get someone in who can play guitar, unlike me, to show them off. I can play a little bit. I will put that out there. I am a guitarist. I think you have to have this job. But yeah, consignment updates we do as well, where we quick fire go through things that have come in, so people can see them in the flesh in sort of 30 seconds to a minute on each guitar. Right. And that's a weekly thing that we put out. So yeah, guitar auctions at Gardiner Houlgate.
There you are. See, free plug there. All right, well, I'm going to regrettingly put this down. Get something else. As a guitar auction house, there must be several brands you get in more than others. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, the world is full of Gibson and Fender guitars, and naturally we get a big influx of those names, which from a business point of view is very good, because that tends to be where people put their money. They put their money in safe brands, whether that's Gibson, Fender, Martin, yeah, but there is a huge variety other than that, even though we're only showing Gibsons and Fenders.
Yeah, I was very aware that we didn't want, like, Andy, what do you want to show in this video? I want to show all the cool stuff. They're all Gibsons and Fenders and a few Ibanezes, and you know, we made a very conscious decision to not just include those, but saying that we had to include this.
Yeah, so we were just looking at that Pee-wee guitar, so we thought we'd show, I think, a serious.
Yeah, it's very serious. Almost signature.
Almost signature. I mean, I think it really has become someone's signature now, and that is Mr. Jones of Tool. But this is a 1980 Gibson Les Paul Custom in what is now a very collectible silver burst. Yeah, essentially, I mean, although it does look green, this is created by the lacquer that makes it turn yellow. But if you turn it over and look at all the wear on the back, you can see where the silver's coming through. I do love this guitar. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Les Paul guitars.
Okay.
I find them heavy. I prefer Gibson SGs because they tend to be lighter, and I don't really care about the neck heavy thing. Just wear a decent strap and
stop crying about it.
Yeah, stop crying about it, exactly. And I also feel that they sit in a little bit too close as well when I'm playing sat down, because
because of this.
And because I am mainly a bedroom guitarist these days, and yeah, so that's many reasons. But because of the association to Tool, I do love these, and I think Silverburst is a cool colour. You don't see it that often. This is probably, I've been selling guitars for 15 years now. I've probably sold, I don't know, I've probably sold over 50,000 guitars now. And yeah, that's quite scary. And I've never had a Silverburst Les Paul.
Never?
I've had copies, but...
Yeah? Because if you're holding it, you're not looking at it. And the thing about these guitars is you want to look at it, not hold it.
Look at that. It looks quite good on you as well.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, this is becoming expensive for you.
It is. It's a very expensive trip. Yeah. When I see her later on, she's going to be asking some questions.
It is heavy.
I'll agree, and I could echo all the things you just said about Les Pauls and SGs, but there is something special about a Les Paul Custom, and although this is very heavy, and the neck is kind of squarish as well. It's D, but not thin, but that has got all the things that I want in a Les Paul. There's mojo off the scale. Has it been refretted? Because there's no tangs on there.
There's no tangs, so that's the only. It's got replacement strap buttons as well, for what it's worth. Obviously, because of the weight of it, someone's made sure that they're not going to lose it on the stage.
And it's probably going all the way into there.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can see that it has been played, which I do love. I don't really like seeing guitars that haven't been played. I mean, there's obviously collectors that like mint condition guitars, and price usually reflects that. But to me, this is, it's a guitar that's been used and loved, and usually the reason is because it's a good guitar.
Exactly. It's the opposite of a case queen.
Yeah. And I mean, and my comment with not necessarily liking Les Pauls, that's not from a visual point of view. I think, how could you not? They're iconic. They look great. They're classic. You know, all the players that have used them in the past. I mean, you know, we've touched on Zakk Wylde, but you know, people like Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton, all the greats that play, you know, the 59 bursts and what have you. But I take a silver burst over a burst any day.
Really?
Well, actually, no. If you were going to give me one, then
Yeah.
I take a 59 burst.
Really?
But I wouldn't buy.
Okay. So if there were two guitars at the same
Yeah.
price.
Oh
and
no,
you
no, I want the $250,000 plus, please. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about buying it now. If you were going to buy, if money wasn't an option, you'd take the silver burst.
I take a silver burst
But
over.
if I'm giving you one,
yeah,
you'd say, you know, Andy, give me the 59 burst, please.
as long as it's the original expensive one.
It would be.
Yeah, which would pay off my mortgage.
I'm not going to gift you
That'd be
some
great.
hunk of junk.
Yeah, no, 100%.
While we're on the subject, mine, you know, because you're more likely to come into contact with one than I am, would be the sort of late 70s red burst, but with black hardware.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the Les Paul Custom,
Yeah.
very much like this, but it's got to be really bright yellow and red,
Yeah,
and black hardware,
yeah.
and black.
Great
That
look.
to me, that is the Les Paul quintessentially.
Great look.
So
Yeah.
even though I enjoy this, I'm not at my peak Les Paul. Oh my God, that's a beauty, you know.
Well, luckily.
But it's got more of love because of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, luckily we don't have one because it could have got really expensive.
No,
Yeah.
it's one of those guitars I want to keep as a one day, because then
Yes. Something to aspire to.
yes. Although I was in Denmark Street recently and I was one on the wall and I daren't touch it, you know. Right. It's heavy. I've got to put this down. Luke, that is very special.
It's a very special guitar.
It's an Ibanez. It's, I think, limited edition. Yes, I'm correct in saying that.
It's very limited and, well, I was about to say almost unique. It is unique.
It is unique, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Late 70s?
Yes, around 78.
May I?
You can go for it.
See, this is the great thing about actually coming. Wow, that is a beast. This is an artist guitar, or rather an attempt at an artist guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the best way to describe this?
So it's a prototype. It was made for a legend, and that legend being Jeff Beck. And it was essentially Ibanez. Well, it's their attempt at getting him on board with the brand. So they, as you can see, they put everything into it.
They really did.
All the switches and all the knobs, just to really get him on board. You know, I think it's no secret. Hence, there was a big auction at Christie's very recently, only a few weeks ago, and there were a lot of Ibanez guitars there, many of which were given to him for the same reason. You know, they're really trying to get him on board. And I think the issue is if you like a Strat, you like a Strat, and you're not necessarily going to be swayed by something like this. But it is a stunning guitar. This actually did end up becoming a production model later on. It became one of the musician guitars, the MC3000, I believe. And they made less than 30 of those, so it stayed a limited edition guitar. So this is probably one of the least produced Ibanez guitars. So it's a prototype made for Jeff Beck, and it essentially a prototype for one of the rarest models. And the Musician Series guitars are great. They're heavy because you've got this big old chunk of Sen Ash in the middle, but walnut caps, maple through neck, but it's got all the bells and whistles on it. But yeah, so Artist Provenance is a rare guitar as well, and great provenance as well. You know,
It's not
faultless provenance.
Yeah, it's not just an artist. It's the guitar for Jeff Beck and it didn't quite make it, which is what makes it extra special.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think, well, this is the thing. I mean, I think if Jeff had actually thought, yeah, I'm going to go with this guitar would be mass produced.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we've not plugged it in, of course, and I've not played it, but I can tell just from looking at it, the magic that's gone into building this is huge. And these carves, they're so organic, and this is so, you know, us guitar players, the way we talk, but they are, and there's more work in that than there is in a Strat. You know, I find Strat bodies absolutely beautiful, and a Jazzmaster's more so because of the way they hug the body. But that curve, it's just, comfort doesn't even come into it. It's beautiful.
There's a lot of thought and design goes into
Absolutely.
these things, and you know, it really does show off what the you know, the Japanese factories were doing. You know, in particular the Ibanez factory.
And this is also the look is of its time. You know, there were a lot of guitars that looked like this in the late 70s, early 80s that were trying to be this kind of guitar, and this must have been one of the first.
Yeah, I mean, it is an early example. You know, 78, and I mean, a lot of the artist series guitars you get, you know, which started in 76, 77. So it's not long, you know, only a couple of years after these type of guitars, you know, started coming about.
It almost feels like if a traveling salesman was trying to show what Ibanez could do, they would take this one to show, well, this guitar could do this, and this one does it all to demonstrate what Ibanez are capable of.
Absolutely.
And then they've just thrown it all into one guitar with these nuts pickups. By the way, I bought a Les Paul, an Ibanez single cut recently. It's missing one of those nuts.
There's one there.
It's just seen as there's one there.
Yeah, yeah.
So before you put this on the website, or is it on the website already?
Yeah, you can still have it.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
No problem.
Great. So if you're going to bid on this, there might be a piece missing. That is amazing. However, it is a bit rich for my blood. Yet there are some people hopefully watching this that are thinking that they might pick this up. If they're not, there's a model that looks a bit like this. And one of the things I like about auctions of guitars in general is I've got to that stage of my life where I want to pick up a birth year guitar. And you told me you have one here that is similar to this.
We do.
But might be more Andy's pocket sort of priced.
You lucky man. Hold that thought.
I'm holding it. I still haven't, like Fender, they made the lead in I'm 1981. The lead 2 they made, I think, and I don't like it. It's too small. It's basically a knockoff Strat in my opinion. But Ibanez did make some beauties in that year, and that's one you found for me.
There we go.
So this is a birth year artist.
1981 artist. Yeah. So it's essentially the basic model. It's got, you know, 2 volume, 2 tone. It's got typical, you know, Les Paul switching, the double cut design. So yeah, it's but they are fantastic instruments, and again, shows off Japanese quality and at a far more affordable price point. So you're looking at around £500 hammer for these.
Is that all?
That's bad.
No.
That's bad news for the pocket,
that's
isn't
terrible
it?
news. Because I was about to say, I'm not that in love with it, but then at about a hammer price of about 500, I could learn to love it. 𝗬𝗫𝗪𝗫 double creams. I'm a massive fan of the Yamaha SG2000s and all the SG Yamahas, and this is of course very reminiscent of that.
Of course, yeah.
But I've never found one that's in my price range that I could.
Yeah, I mean the SG2000s, you know, you're talking 2000 plus now, but that kind of does the same trick really. Especially if you like the double cut Les Paul body, which is obviously a good crossover between a Les Paul and an SG. And yeah, it's got Ibanez Japan quality, and I mean the quality really is going to be as good as any US Gibson
Absolutely.
guitar at, you know, a fraction of the price.
So Luke, what we've done is the thing that I don't like about like collaborating with you guys is that we advertise guitars that I want to buy and bid on. And I've done the stupid thing of including the ones that I actually want to put some money on, and now the world is aware of it. So
Ibanez,
I
yeah,
feel like a fool.
Flying V's, maybe.
The last one of your last auctions, one of your recent auctions, I bid on and won, which I don't like the term there because I had to pay.
Yeah.
I won the opportunity to pay for a guitar, the Rocket Roll, the Ibanez, and I took that to Ibanez in Germany, to 𝗏𝗨, and it basically closed down the whole business because people wanted to come and look at it. And they had a look in the QC department. They were really having a good time, and it is a wonderful guitar. I haven't shown you the back yet. Should we have a look at the back? It says something here. Built by the... Oh, I don't know what that says. What does that say?
I'm not looking at it.
You mean you haven't memorized the back of every single guitar in here? Built by the
I think this is where you just say to everyone, let us know in the comments.
Right, good. If you're an Ibanez freak, which I know several of you are, what does that say? Or what should that say before it got worn off a little bit from all the playing love? It says Japan at the end. So built by the something 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 craftsman, Ibanez Japan. There's one word missing. What is it? Let me know. Win this guitar or not. Yeah, I'm... oh, there's also one of those little nuts on there that I could put on the other one.
There you go, interchangeable.
Great, perfect. Luke, I genuinely might bid on that, so don't bid on this, and don't go to guitar-auctions.co.uk to look at anything, because I want first dibs. But that is a cracking guitar. I'm going to plug that in. I have to plug that in before we leave. I'm going to put it there, very gently on top of Jeff's. I'm having a moment. Right, what's next? Can't get the case open. There we go. Right, in there is a very special guitar, Luke. It is a late 60s Telecaster.
That's the one. 1968 in candy apple red, which was Leo Fender's favourite colour.
And he's right, that is such a great colour. And
I think 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗪 blue, candy apple red.
yeah.
Olympic white I'm a big fan of,
Okay.
but you know, yeah, those two metallic colours, 𝗏𝗪𝗪 blue and candy apple red, I think just look great. They just pop.
I love red guitars. Red is my favourite colour. And that holding that, it's just, there's so many different types of red going on because of the age of the guitar. It's also signed by Albert Lee, which is a pretty big thing. Yeah. What is the story here, Lou? What are we looking at?
So essentially, it's another original example. The one of the pickups has had a rewind. It got rewound by Monty's, so it's got
pretty good job,
yeah,
I would guess.
a good job. But it comes in its original case. It was imported from the States by the seller. So he's had it for, I'm pretty sure he's had it for at least 15 years. We don't know the story behind the Albert Lee signature because that was there when he got it. But it's almost irrelevant because the value of the guitar does outweigh what that signature would add. I mean, you know, if you had an Albert Lee signature on a piece of paper, you could probably pick that up for £50, probably, from an autograph dealer or from a reputable auction house. Not that I know any. Jesting, of course. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, as I too often say.
You actually, Luke took this out of the case before we started filming, and I did see it. I tried not to see it, and I accidentally looked. And there's a part of the neck that I just fell in love with. And it's this part just here, this little bit of figuring, or,
just a knot in the wood,
like a knot.
Yeah,
and you'd almost frown upon that in certain models these days.
Yeah, you would, but I think those imperfections sort of add to it and tell a story. It's a bit like, you know, with the wear on the neck. You know, you can look at the way the neck's worn, and you can kind of see
who's played
it,
what sort of style they probably played.
Whether they're into cowboy chords, whether they're actually interested in going over the 7th fret, which I just didn't realise that was a thing.
No. There's wear here. you know? So right on the edge of the fretboard. So someone's been, going up there. Can you see that?
Yeah. So I mean, what that could be is, I guess, at some point maybe bad action, and all the strings have really dug in, and yeah, it's something.
If you were wanting to make a guitar look like it was used, this is a great example of what you should follow.
Yeah, it's not overboard like you can with a lot of the things that get dragged through the Fender custom shop factory. But yeah, that's perfect. It's kind of honest. You're going to have some light checking, lacquer checking dings here and there. This is obviously a guitar that's been used and loved because it works.
Yeah. It opened up a little bit of conversation about the saddles as well, because I'm a brass saddles till I die kind of guy, and you disagreed.
Yeah, I prefer the aesthetic of, chrome saddles or nickel saddles, and I think especially with these saddles, because you do have the slots, I just feel they're more stable. And obviously, the brass saddles were an early thing, and as time progresses and they improve on designs, they brought this thing out with the slots, and I guess it works better. But then I'm saying that while at home I've got one of the 50s Fender Player Series,
right, with brass saddles,
tellies with brass saddles, and that's the only telly I own with brass saddles, and I haven't changed them. So
the reason I'm against these type of saddles is because when I get a cheap telly copy, they have these on them, and they're always a really long nut in there, and I've just realised that they're actually accurate. I've always thought that was a budget thing. It's not.
No, it will still cut your hand off when you're when you're chugging.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
And I've just something. I've played guitar for a long time. I've held a lot of guitars. Something's just majorly changed in my core beliefs. But compensated brass saddles. Can we agree on that? Like that's a good move.
It's fine.
Okay. I'm not going to fall out. Am I?
Yeah.
You're not going to kick me out.
I'll
You're kicking me out. All right. See ya. Yeah, well, what an honour to hold that. What are we looking at on lot 32? What do you reckon for an estimate?
These days, 8,000 hammer-ish, 8,000 to 9,000. So, still not cheap.
Just carefully place it back in there, Luke. It would be a mistake, Luke, not to talk about this, but we're going to end up making a very long video, so I asked if we could blast through 4 guitars. And here's the first 2. This is a Tokai Firebird.
Yep.
And that is a Tokai Les Paul Custom?
Les Paul Custom. So this is a Japanese-made 1985. So they are, even though they are becoming collectible, they're still very, very affordable in comparison to, a Gibson. I mean, the white finish ones, the classic look. Yeah, of course you can. But you're looking at mid-hundreds for these. I mean, well, 600, 700, that kind of thing, hammer price, which is £1,500 and even more less than a Gibson. But they are great quality and a very affordable way to get I guess, I mean, it's now vintage, isn't it, being mid-80s?
Yeah.
But Japanese quality, fantastic guitars. So we're selling that on behalf of the original owner as well.
Wow.
Which is good. A chap in Trowbridge, which is very close to us. And then you've kind of got even more on the affordable scale, a Korean-made Firebird, and hammer price. These will come in between £300 and £400, but they are so accurate.
It's really naughty.
Yeah.
Very naughty.
It is. And I mean, some people would say, "Oh, made in Korea, no thanks," but actually, incredible quality. It really doesn't matter where these guitars are made these days, whether it's China, Indonesia, Korea. No.
I would say it's the time spent on the setup and the design in the first stages.
Absolutely.
So,
I think, like you mentioned earlier, one thing can be glossy necks. They can, but that can be remedied. And yeah,
like that. I'm starting it already for you.
Just play it lots. Yeah.
But I really dig this. I think that's a beautiful guitar. That's one of the most beautiful guitars we've shown, and I love that it's affordable. But that has a lot of mojo as well. If that had a fat neck on it, we'd be in trouble right now.
Bank manager time.
Yeah. All right, so we're blasting through these, although I really don't want to. But there is more information on lot. Is that 133 you've got over there?
This is number 133.
And this is 80, lot 80 on the website. So we've got two more we want to blast through, which we really shouldn't again. But it's kind of, what I'm trying to do here is get you to go to the website, because then you can pretend to be at work and actually be looking at, oh my God, at these.
What's your preference, big headstock, little headstock?
I don't know, little.
Good, because mine's big, so there we go.
Right then.
Enough of that.
Right, do yours first whilst I ogle this thing.
So, the expensive vintage Stratocasters, although slightly more affordable, I guess, because they are, I guess, what you call the player's grade category. So this is a 66 Olympic white finish, but it is a refinish, but done a very long time ago. This is from an estate sale, deceased estate, and owned by the deceased since 1970, but it was in this finish when he got it. But because it is 66, it's got transitional features like the big headstock, the slightly chunkier logo. I'm a fan of the bigger headstock Strats, but I think that's Tom DeLonge is responsible for that. So I think the only extra thing I would prefer is the big block Fender Stratocaster logo, which I do prefer, whereas that's got the transitional logo.
You asked me, and the honest answer is I don't care. They're both great.
Yeah.
I think I'm also a big headstock fan, but I like the blue one.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. You asked me the wrong question. But can we switch?
Yeah.
And I'll hold that, and then you can talk about that one.
Yeah. So like I said, that one is player's grade. It's got a replaced guard as well, but all the electrics are original, and so that would be a £10,000 to £15,000 guitar if it was original, but it's going to be more, 5,000 to 7,000.
A steal.
A steal.
A drop in the ocean.
And then we have a more desirable, because this is pre-CBS. This is before the takeover when features started changing. So you've got the spaghetti logo, the classic smaller headstock. You've got a Brazilian rosewood board, which apparently makes all the difference to tone. Doesn't.
How dare you?
But this again is a player's grade example. So this would be, if this was all original and it was an original custom colour Daphne blue, that would probably be a 30k guitar these days. But it's been refinished. It was probably originally sunburst, and its value now probably 6,000 to 8,000. So similar to the white one, but it is more desirable. This one's had a changed pickup, as you can see, so it's got a Seymour Duncan quarter-pounder or something, or maybe a Schecter with the big poles. But other than that, everything else is right. You've got this green guard, which people like. These like the way they do go green, I think it's a nice old look. Whereas you can see this has got a replaced guard. So although the guard's
slightly smaller, isn't it? It's you can see the aging is
tan lines.
Tan lines, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, two. I hate to say affordable because they're not. I can't afford them.
But less than ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
But very desirable guitars.
If you want to play a 60s Strat, but you've only got £6,000, not 20 plus grand.
You're right. It is affordable, because affordable is relative.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's why affordable is not always the right choice in a replacement term for cheap. Luke, why are the machine heads all straight on this? And why is that? What's that all about?
When we photograph them, we straighten them all out, or I don't. Our friend does. He straightens them all out because it just looks nicer in the photographs. And then we keep them like that. And when people come and view the sale, we allow them to go around tuning all the guitars for us.
Amazing.
Give them something to do while they're...
So if you've ever wanted to tune a 1960s Fender Strat, come on down to the auction and do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we were supposed to blast through these. We spent a bit longer on them than I thought we were going to, but there's no way I was going to spend any less time on them. For what it's worth, I don't think, I'll be really careful what I'm saying now. I think this is a great piece of history, but there are better guitars out there than this. It might sound phenomenal when you plug it in, but I reckon there's got to be some much better Strats in the world that, I don't know, possibly sound better, look better, more affordable, and just don't have the provenance that this has.
Do you mean like these?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we'll just gently place that on the case there. So this is another Strat. Oh! That was just the stand I stood on then. Two Strats, twins almost. Evil twin, happy twin.
Yin and yang.
Yin yang, Barbie and Oppenheimer. The pink Squier Hello Kitty and the black Squier Hello Kitty, original run.
Original run. So 2006, both of them. And once again, my preference of the single pickup, single control knob. One thing I was quite amazed with these guitars is how good the necks are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the older Squiers, cheaper Squiers.
I have that.
Yeah.
I have it, and I bought it, you know, as a YouTuber, not as a guitar player. I thought, oh, that'll be fun to put in videos. I've never even mentioned it on the channel until now, because I got it, and there's several things I keep back for myself. Otherwise, everything is a job.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. It's not like an Affinity neck. They've done something extra.
Yeah.
And that
really,
feels.
really
I've just had a 60s Fender in my hands, and I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm equally at home, or possibly more at home.
I think these, for me, these necks feel nicer.
Yeah, there's something about that, of course, but at a gig, I'd struggle with that Fender. I'd be at home on this.
100%.
Probably says more about my gigs than
yeah.
than the actual guitars. But no, I know what you're saying. It's more than just a fun guitar, which is why I think they have so much history and so much like mystique around them.
I think for something that almost felt like when they came out, they were a bit of a gimmick.
Absolutely.
As an instrument, they're not just a gimmick. They actually put some, especially the necks, put some thought into them. But I think, yeah, cool design, really.
I think so.
Iconic.
So, there's a lot of Strats in this video, isn't there?
There is.
There is. So what are we looking at on lot one? Oh, they are twins. They're neighbours. 137 and 138.
Yeah. So £300 to £500. I think the reissues were
about 500.
About 500.
499,
so
I think now they're 800. You know, because they've sold out and people are scalping them.
And I think that whole thing is gonna, you know, I know not everything should be about an investment, but if you are looking at investments, then this still is potentially an affordable investment. The first runs, now the reissues are out.
Should we come back in 10 years when we're both still doing this whole rubbish and try to praise this video with another Hello Kitty and see what's changed?
Maybe we should buy them and just bring them back and hope that our investment's been realised.
We can just inflate the price ourselves.
Yeah.
We can force that. No, they are fun guitars. They certainly make a statement, and they're more than a guitar. And there's nothing more metal than playing this on stage with an upgraded...
It's perfect.
Just take that pickup out and put in like a Fluence or something.
Oh.
Just something super high gain.
Seymour Duncan Invader.
Yeah, Invader. I've got Invader on mine.
Yeah,
I tummed along the heck out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great. I am, again, genuinely thinking about bidding on this one because I've got that one. So if you want to really upset me, then outbid me on this guitar. If you want to really get in my good books, and I've been good to you all these years I've been doing this, why not bid on it for me and then send me the guitar that has now got a knock on the headstock? No, I didn't. And I will play it. Every time I play it, I will think of you. I'll mention you as well. Buy me this guitar.
Please.
Yeah. I should have said that about the Fender. Why are we so adamant that this is the one? Yeah, it's just, I often rate instruments on how much they want me to play them. And I've suddenly become very animated about a big guitar. But, Luke, we were originally going to do a top 10. There was no way it was going to happen because they've got so much good stuff. There is one guitar that ignore what I said about buying me this, buy me the next one. Let's put these down and go and get the next guitar, which is the pinnacle. Luke, here we have a very old case that looks like it might contain something very important. And you've been taking great care of it here at Gardiner Houlgate, in or near Bath. What's in this case?
Do the honours.
Really, I'm gonna, oh, that one's open. That one is, no, I've ruined this earlier in the video. You do that one, I'll do the middle one. Thank you. Right, you ready? Oh, I didn't even know what colour it was going to be. Like you said, you told me you had it.
That is it. That is the pinnacle. 1957. Lot
402. That's 382. I'm just trying to throw you off. The look of this guitar is one of the reasons I play guitar. Like Brian May we discussed earlier, Kurt Cobain was huge, and the reason I actually picked it up and said maybe I can do this. But when I chose my first guitar, it was because of the Weezer Buddy Holly video that was on my Windows 95 installation CD-ROM. And in that video, Rivers Cuomo is playing a Sunburst Strat. Oh, that neck! Oh, that is everything I thought it was going to be. Forget what I said about the Hello Kitty. That is light. That's almost perfection.
I mean, there's a reason why Fender, let's take their American vintage reissue series, there's a reason why they copy a 57, they copy a 62. They have the perfect specs, or, you know, traditionally known
the
perfect
ones you want, yeah.
specs.
I have the latest Fender 70th anniversary 57. It is a phenomenal guitar, and you plug it in, it's like, okay, that is a Strat sound.
Absolutely.
And this is mind-blowing. Like, I've started to accidentally relic that one, and this one has been used and played. It has the soft V, so my biggest question for me was, how soft is that V? It's perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
That's what you tend to find around, I mean, because obviously nowadays you're very much getting factory-made guitars where they could technically make everything more or less the same.
Yeah.
Back then they were hand-making these, but it's still amazing how accurate they could make it. Well, I mean, essentially they had people in the factory who were solely responsible for, you know, crafting these necks. But, you know, with the 50s ones, you get this really like pronounced contouring as well. You know, how thin the body goes in,
it's
really
tiny.
comfortable. I mean, as you get into the 60s, it gets bigger, but yeah, so you get a really lightweight, really comfortable contoured instrument. It's got the classic Strat sounds. It's got that soft V neck, and that classic two-tone sunburst, which I like a lot more than the three-tone.
Yeah. Three-tone can jog on.
Yeah, looks cheap, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think mine was three-tone, you know, because it was cheap. It was a 199 guitar with amp kit.
There you go.
The 𝗏𝗏 LX90. I'm sure you've had a few in here.
Probably got a few in the sale.
Yeah.
If you're after one, have a look at the catalogue.
Definitely. So there's one we're going to mention. Is it still three-way?
Three-way. So this guitar's, it's completely original. So it's three-way. Got black bobbin pickups, which is all gets a bit anarchy. 57 dated pots and single ply guard. So we went three ply guard into the 60s.
But these that looks almost new. That guard. They're so well looked after.
It's just incredible, really.
Like you see the cracks, and you see, you know, like this doesn't have any of that. The knobs are, you know, they're used, and you can see this is a used guitar. But if you told me that scratch plate, and particularly the one on the back, had been replaced, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Also, it says something for the latest Fender Standard series they've released, and I complained about the fact that you could see the joint in the wood. And I'm waxing lyrical over this thing. That is absolutely stunning, and I'm honoured to hold it. And it's even more of a thing than I thought it would be when we spoke about it. And this is one of the main reasons I came here today, just to hold this thing and hopefully plug it in later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plug it in later. And take it home with me later. You take it home with me later. So lot 382.
Yeah.
Go on, if someone wants to invest in a 1957 Strat.
Want to indulge yourself, you're going to have to need hammer 20 to 25,000. Stick your 26.4% on top, and that's your
congratulations
checkout price. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, not every day you get to hold.
It's got all the imperfections that Fender didn't figure out and possibly still haven't, that other guitar manufacturers, like the saddle screws, they're going to dig in. But that is a Strat, and it's beautiful. And just from the weight, I can tell everything that I need to tell, and the way that it feels. It's almost waxy to the touch, where it's so soft, and all this has been worn away. This is the guitar that people dream of.
It is the Strat.
It's beautiful. Well, we're going to have to end this video because I really need to plug that in, and I apparently have places to be, which is not the case at all. Yeah, goodbye. See you in a moment when I plug you in. Luke, thank you for this. CJ behind the camera, thank you so much for holding that camera. And yeah, it was cold here when we started. I've warmed up through the goodness of my heart and your heart from all these instruments. I know it sounds sickening, but it's true. I don't feel anything anymore apart from guitar love. What a load of rubbish that was. No, but it's genuinely how I feel when I get to do these kind of things. And it's an honour to meet people like this. And we met at the guitar show in Birmingham, and since then you've had me in for various things. We've finally done it in person.
Yeah.
And I hope this isn't the last time. But not everybody is as lucky as me. So, Luke, is there a place, if someone is not as lucky as me, to come and actually see them in person, somewhere they can go where they can find more information before they bid on these auctions?
They can, absolutely. So if you head over to, just behind me, guitar-auctions.co.uk, or to make it easier, you could put in guitarauctions.com. And you'll find our website. It's kind of a preview website. There's always running live with, we try and preview things as early as possible on there.
Not early enough, never early enough.
Never early enough, but early enough to tempt people like you to come here and ogle. But yeah, you can view everything there. And then the full catalogue goes live usually 3 weeks before an auction. So, imminently for this next auction as well. And then you can register, get ready to bid live, leave your bids, ask for condition reports, and it all starts going from there, really.
Great. And if I may give a tip, if they haven't got that online soon enough, go to the Instagram, because that's where you post all the pictures of guitar porn that make me then want to go to the website and say, when's the latest auction?
Yeah. So you if you follow us on @guitar-auctions for Instagram, /guitar-auctions on Facebook, and then usually the best way is the YouTube channel now is very quickly taking over as the way to see lots of things all at once, because Instagram, it's one post a day. YouTube,
that's all I can handle.
Yeah. YouTube, you can have 50 guitars a week almost in some of the videos. So
wow.
And they will hit the YouTube channel usually before the website as well. So yeah.
Well,
so if you have a spare half an hour to 45 minutes a week, then you can sit down.
It is dangerous. This video is dangerous. Your website is dangerous. You are dangerous. It's a wonderful place to be. Thank you again, Luke. Thank you for watching. Leave us comments on your favourite guitar that you've seen in this video and why is it the Hello Kitty. And we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.